This Boston Red Sox. Morning, Brett.
Good morning, Greg. How are you?
Well, I'm fine. Wiggy taking a little shrapnel from Will Middlebrooks over his lead this morning. I don't know if you caught that or not.
Well deserved.
Yeah.
I was right up with Wiggy, and Wiggy, I love you. I was right up with you, blaming Alex Cora on most things. But then you said bring the infield in with 2 outs, and I just couldn't get behind that.
All right, let me ask you this. Were you all city in high school?
3 sports.
No. Was you all city in baseball? I was all city catcher.
He lettered. He just told you he lettered in 3 sports.
Yeah, but lettering doesn't mean anything. Anybody, you lettered in high school. Lettering means you just was on the team.
Greg was a tremendous rebounder.
Correct. Who are you placing this current situation? Who do you place most of the blame on?
Yeah, I would tell you, Alex Cora would take most of it for me. I don't think he's had a good year managing at all. He just made really curious moves. I thought Breslow gave him a really good roster at the start of the year. I think there were some flaws still there, but I think all teams are flawed. I don't think any team is perfect. I thought Breslow put them in a really good situation. I think Alex Cora's had a really, really poor year managing. I think he's done better with worse teams because I think there's more talent here. I was incredibly excited going into the year. I've become increasingly frustrated every game that goes on. And listening to your interview last Thursday, Sam had to have said there's urgency probably three or four times during that interview. What have they done to create urgency? What has either the front office or Alex Cora, what urgency moves have they made to put themselves in a better spot?
None. None.
None, right? They have the number 1 prospect in baseball sitting in the minors. They have Trevor Story, who needs to, not play, and they just keep rolling out the same exact roster without making moves. The only reason Marcelo Meyer's here is because Alex Bregman got hurt. And Alex Bregman had the same injury 3 or 4 years ago when he was out 58 games with the state. Now, no 2 injuries are the same, but that same quad injury or whatever it is, he was out 58 games. So, and he was your second best hitter, team leader. So that hurts. And there's no urgency. They can make a couple moves and stay in it, but if they continue down this path, Greg, it's just going to get worse. Now they're in 4th place, 7.5 out, and they're just digging themselves an incredible hole without much, unless they make some urgency moves. I just feel like they're just going to keep rolling it out.
And under urgency, Brett, too, you could also talk about Crochet's last start, 85 pitches, the bullpen's totally and completely taxed, and you take him out. Everything about this season feels like it's like we'll just wait around. The Red Sox have the entire city to themselves for about another 2 months, and they are squandering
That's the frustrating part. That is, you're 100% right. That's the frustrating part, and they are just squandering it, right? I mean, you have all eyes on you. The Celtics get knocked out. The Patriots are still kind of in a rebuild, but they don't start camp for another, month and a half, 2 months. And you have the ability to do that run that they did where they went to the ALCS and they kind of got all the fans back in. They have that ability right now, and they're just not taking advantage of it.
Is there any chance? And now this is a wild card or one of those things you throw out there and see if it sticks. Is there any chance, Brett, that if they're in this position come the trade deadline and it looks like they might be out of it, that the organization maybe says we move on from Cora, or because of the extension, are they kind of stuck to him?
Well, yeah, I think if a team president tells me they have urgency, I would definitely tell you that would be on the table. But I'm not seeing any urgency, so I would tell you that I don't think that they do that, right? I think
they just did the deal. They just did the deal with him mid-season last year, so I don't think he's going anywhere.
But Chris has talked about this. Chris has talked about this for a couple years now, where they didn't have talent, so Alex Cora became the face of the organization, right? And that was last year. So during that time last year, I think fans would have revolted if they didn't do that and they let Alex Cora go, because he was considered, Greg, the face of the organization because they just didn't have a lot of talent, right? And I think Chris has spoke on that in the past, where what talent did they have? No, they have Alex Cora, and they kept rolling him out there to be like, kind of the front-facing man of the organization. And I think if they didn't sign that contract then, or at the end of the year, I think they would have caught a lot of grief from the fans on that, right? But now they have talent, so something stinks. Something has to go wrong. Devers doesn't want to play first. Now can Devers play third base? That would open up Roman Anthony coming up and being an impact bat for you. Nope, can't do that. Okay, so now they're just kind of stuck. They have their DH, their former DH, sitting in no man's land, and they're paying him another $60 million. What's $14 million for Alex Cora? It doesn't count against the tax. It's just money.
Why is Alex Cora so mad about the graduation, but seemingly okay with everything else? Like, I understand you're pissed that people say things about you and decisions you make off the field, but like, he was far more enraged about people questioning his decision to miss the game than he's been after any of these losses.
It's exactly why LeBron was pissed at Stephen A. Smith. It's talking about you being a dad. Your
family.
Yeah.
And even Cora said it. Cora goes, listen, there are bigger things than baseball. Like, you know what I mean? And family. So he was more mad about that.
Right. But like your team is pissing away a season right now. You have the most one-run losses in Major League Baseball with 14. That is at the feet of the manager of the team.
Yep. All right, Brett.
Yeah.
I wish.
All right, Greg. Talk to you guys. Thanks.
All right. I wish the state of the franchise were better, but it's not.
Nope.
But you said that, was it you who said or Curtis asked the question, I guess, earlier? No, you did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many teams in this city would keep a manager who has finished last in 3 of the last 4 or 3 of the last 5 or 4 of the last 4, whatever it is?
Right.
Like, I mean,
and then Courtney
at some point you have to ask if he's the real problem.
Right, and then Courtney brought up an even better piece than that, because she said not only is he still the manager, but they extended him.
Yeah, they extended him, but also if you're John Henry and you're hearing that your players love him, and before I even say this, like what happened at the Liverpool parade was terrible, but John Henry and Linda are at the Liverpool parade enjoying a wonderful success for one of their other teams. So do they care? Like, do they care right now about the Red Sox record?
Yeah, they do, because they went out, they signed Crochet, they gave him money, they got Bregman.
Yeah, no, I get it.
He did his job as an owner.
But I'm saying you're also keeping some players who love Alex Cora happy. So if you're John Henry, do you really care about wins or losses, or do you care about the people that you're paying millions of dollars, being happy because you have other success in your life?
I think he cares about wins and losses. He's just not one of those face-forward type of owners.
Well, he is, because he went and spoke to Rafael Devers after Rafael Devers spoke out.
No, I'm saying like he re-signed Cora. He did everything you wanted. If you're a diehard Sox fan, he did everything you wanted to do. And he even, brought Cora back, or extended Cora, who some people felt like, that he was one of the better managers in baseball. So there's really no blame at his feet. I don't think there's any blame at Sam or Breslow's feet. It comes down to Cora with some of the decisions that he makes in game.
Yeah, and I think big reason we all celebrated, myself included, the Cora extension was that Cora, we thought, would have a bunch of options, and if he signed a new 3-year deal in the middle of the year, which was surprising to all of us at the time, it meant to me that they had given him assurances payroll-wise that they were going to invest. That Cora re-signing and extending meant the organization was going in a different direction. Well, and they did.
And they went and got the guy that he wanted.
Right. And so...
and Alex Bregman.
But a guy that we all thought embodied the fans' urgency to win has not resembled that at all this year. At all. He didn't want to talk to Devers about the move. He doesn't want to, have Crochet on the mound over 85 pitches. He doesn't want to bring Mayer up or Roman Anthony until he's forced to. I agree with Wiggy 100% on this.
And we're sitting here talking about a game that you lost yesterday, and for all the baseball people out there, wannabe baseball people that are questioning me on where your third baseman should be, if your third baseman is in the right position, we might not be having this conversation. And that's pure in part because you decide to keep the guy back and play him further off of the grass. But what do I know?
Right. Middlebrooks is mad.
Now, what do I know? You lost, and everybody's telling me what he did was right. But you lost the game because of a play the third baseman could not make.
They need a Chick-fil-A party.